Hi listeners. We try to keep Direcast light and fun, but some games call for some darker themes, and this week's is one of them. So before we start this episode, I want to give you some trigger warnings for the following: murder, manslaughter, mild player-on-player violence, blood, and passing mention of fictional slurs. To be clear, we absolutely do not use any real-world slurs, and never will, but there are some fictional ones in this universe, and while our characters do not use them, there is reference to an interaction with a character who does. For player safety, we use the lines and veils and X-card systems, and fill out a consent survey beforehand, created by Kiana Shaw and Lauren Bryant-Monk. We'll leave links to these in the episode description. As always, if you come across content for which you feel we have not given proper warning, please let us know by emailing direcastpod@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to our safety section, and now, on with the show. Welcome to Direcast, where all your dreams come true. Here at Direcast, our group of 6 Bram Stoker enthusiasts play different RPGs, bringing you a new game and system every few weeks. But this week we are in fact 7, because we are joined by a very special guest, Casey. Hi, Casey.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yay, you excited for Direcast this week?
So very excited.
Oh yeah. So this week, the enthusiasm is strong. This week, we are beginning a game of Vampire the Masquerade, the cult classic vampire RPG that has us playing blood-sucking immortals living secretly among the humans of the 21st century. This is a more complicated and rules-heavy game than I think any we've done before, so it's going to be a longer series than usual, but I promise you're going to enjoy it. The intro question for this week is, what is your most vampiric trait? I have so many. I'm really pale and burn in the sun really, really easily, but the main one is probably that when people try to take blood from me, they can't. Like, I've literally had a nurse standing there with a needle, a syringe, in my vein, and she's going, I don't understand. It is in the vein, and yet no blood is coming out.
We're just getting dust.
Yeah. So that's me. Matt.
Hello, I'm Matt. I too, I feel like I'm quite a gothic person. I like horror movies. I think my most vampiric trait is I like candlelight. I tend to work by candlelight in the evenings, if at all possible.
Ooh, spooky.
I have candles on right now. I've got 2 Victorian freaking candlesticks going.
Do you go for like scented candles, or are you all just like
sometimes
atmosphere?
like at the minute no, but yeah, I do like scented candles.
So you ever stuck for a present to get Matt scented candles?
Honestly, I will be grateful for like, I'll never get tired.
Hi, I'm Jacob, and my most vampiric trait that hasn't already been spoken for is probably my excessive command of completely outdated knowledge.
Yeah.
Like ancient
fair.
history, classical philosophy, music that's more music where the composer's dead.
Because you knew them.
Other esoteric bullshit. Like if it has a practical everyday application, I don't want anything to do with it.
Jacob is the
Who's
last
next?
person you should go to if you want to fix a Fiat Punto.
I had to look up, for the sake of a joke, I had to look up what gear you go down to make a U-turn earlier today.
Jesus. I mean, okay, well, it depends what speed you're going at.
There you go, I didn't know that.
I mean, it would also help if you could drive.
Yeah, that too.
It's fine, I played Mario Kart when I was a kid.
on the GameCube, which didn't have a steering wheel.
Jacob is the last person I would go to fix anything made after 100 AD.
If it has its
But
own
if it's a
power
catapult-
source, just don't. Okay.
I need someone
Right.
to put another lick of
Moving
paint on
on.
the aqueduct.
Hi, I'm Helen, and I think I'm going to be joining Lukey, but putting it as my most vampiric trait is being a very, very, very pale person. It's the Irish heritage. Because I have never had an issue getting blood from my veins, because you can see them. All of them. All the way up my arms. I'm kind of translucent-y. And that's
You're
all
just
pale.
like a vampire's ideal snack. You're like
I know, it's terrible.
Yeah, you're like one of those menus with the pictures on.
You're a walking buffet.
So yeah, very pale person.
Hello there, my name's Peter, and my most vampiric trait is, due to safety reasons, I haven't visited Italy recently. Generally, Italy is sort of the bane of vampires, being both the home of garlic, a lot of silver, and Catholicism.
And sunlight.
Yeah, and sunlight. Yeah, that's the other one. So if you're a vampire in Italy, you're just living on hard mode. So,
That's my vampire uprising emergency plan, is to get to Italy.
yeah. Also, lots of running water. Actually, Venice is really dangerous for
Venice
vampires.
is great, yeah.
There's loads of running.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, it's not great if you're a
Well,
vampire.
the Vatican is probably where I would go first, but Venice is a good shout too.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm H, and my most vampiric trait, apart from also being really pale, is probably that I like to wear poofy shirts, and I'm quite fond of a cape. So
I will
think
dispute
that
you
does
being
work.
very pale. You're like regular
Only
English
compared
person
to
who stays
you.
inside pale.
That's what I am
Still the
too.
lightest shade of makeup you can find anywhere, so I think it
Too.
counts.
And finally, we have our very special guest, KC. What's your most vampiric trait?
Well, I don't burn in the sun, so that's I can't
It's
say
your
that.
anti-vampiric trait.
I'm so anti-vampiric. But I do blend into the darkness.
Hey.
Yeah, that's probably my also being up at nighttime. I'm always up at nighttime.
Oh yeah.
The nocturnal approach.
Yeah, that
I
one I
am
would have
so
gone for
much a
first.
vampire. Yeah.
That's a band name. Nocturnal Approach.
Ooh, it is. Put it in the list.
Ooh, quick, put that in the chat.
Well, now that we know all of those things about ourselves, let's get to it.
Hi everyone, H here, the GM or storyteller this week. This is probably the most insane game we've tried yet on Direcast, because it's got a huge history, a massive following, and none of us have played it before. This is Dungeons & Dragons' gothic sibling, Vampire the Masquerade, and we're playing 5th edition. Here's a quick primer for the game. Vampire is set in the modern world, and we chose to go for London around 2017. Our vampires live in Fitzrovia, central London. Vampires, known in this world as kindred, have lived among mortals for millennia. Since the beginning, generation has been of utmost importance. The older you are, the more powerful you are. As the generations go down, the blood gets thinner. In fact, in recent decades, weaker vampires known as duskborn or thin bloods have started to emerge. These thin bloods can walk more easily among mortals at a price. They're neither one nor other and tread a careful line between the hierarchical world of vampire clans and politics and the humans they must feed on. The ancient vampires hate them and the decline they represent. Another complication. Some mortals have become aware of the masquerade, that is, bloodsuckers hiding in plain sight. This is known as the Second Inquisition. Our story won't dwell on that too much, but know the context. To breach the masquerade, that is, the fact that vampires live among mortals, is one of the highest crimes. Vampires can only hunt with anonymity. Too many in one area risks exposure. Think of any apex predator. There's never more than a small pack in one place, and many hunt alone. Finally, a pack of kindred is called a coterie. Vampires have a feudal system to keep order, and the domain you live in is no exception. You rule your space, and what you say goes, but beware straying into another vampire's domain without permission. A vampire referred to as the prince rules over many domains, or in this case a large city. The secret organisation of vampires who keep this order up? The Camarilla. Lost already? Don't worry. Hopefully things will become clearer as we play. We will begin with our oldest coterie member, Ernest. Imagine, if you would, the opening credits of a film. We pan in to introduce our characters. What's Ernest typically doing on any given night, and what do we see?
Oh, thank you for asking. Lord Ernest Crabtree, Marquess of Ripon in West Yorkshire. spends part of the year with his husband in their family estate of Thornton Buckley in West Yorkshire, near Ripon, but throughout the year periodically goes to town, as he has done since the 1800s, when he was first embraced, to visit his townhouse. This is a large, fancy building in Fitzrovia, with multiple rooms, and you will, on an average evening, find him lounging in one of the very many drawing rooms, near the fire, feet up on the couch, reading a book, and a large brandy glass of some very obvious red liquid in one hand. And as the onlooker looks, he will gesture to the butler standing by the wall, just raise a hand, and the butler will put on Vivaldi's Four Seasons. And he will take a sip, then return to his book, and think about how much he misses his husband.
No.
And wonder why on earth there is loud banging coming from upstairs.
Excellent. On that note, let's go to possibly one of our other oldest vampires, Seraphima.
Hello. We're going to see Seraphima doing a bit of an evening thing. We first see her in a club in what she calls her hunting dress. It is a little black dress, but it's just kind of got some punk vibes to it. And she's in under the neon lights with the deep throbbing music. She's flirting with a few people, and then we cut away and we see her emerging from a store cupboard, licking her lips, looking very happy. And and I told you that was
loves cleaning products.
She does. That was
Sorry.
And
what do these characters look like? We didn't get a
yes.
physical description of either of them, I don't think.
Do you want to go first?
Yep. The young man lounging on the couch looks like he's in his early to mid-20s. He was 24 when he was embraced, and is entirely the most stylish person you will ever see. Clearly uses the same tailor as royalty, perfectly fitted and formal outfitting, and he has startling blue eyes and wavy blonde hair on his chiseled features. He is, as an advantage, because you can do this, beautiful.
Ah.
And what do you look like?
Seraphima looks like Katie McGrath when she was playing Morgana in the later seasons of Merlin, where she spent most of her time swooshing dramatically through the woods.
Oh, snap.
Excellent.
It's gothic chic is what it is.
Yeah, she's like gothic punk chic. She has just a big mass of black hair. She is incredibly pale. She has deep, soulful black eyes. And she has just the coolest aesthetic. And yes, at the moment she's wearing her hunting dress, which is a bit more sort of showy and I wouldn't say slutty, maybe provocative is the right word. If it's classy, then it's not slutty, it's provocative. Yeah, everything is where it should be, including blood in her tummy. And passed out mortals in the cleaning cupboard.
Alright, next on the list, I was going by age, but I'm not 100% sure who comes first, because I think Megan, Balthazar and Tyburn are all of similar vintage. So
Tyburn's actually pretty old.
Yeah.
How old is he?
Let's
Okay,
start with
Tyburn.
Tyburn then. Where do we see him?
He is in a ring of cheering men, each one baying for blood, but not so much as him himself. A stocky and well-built man in a huge, in a sort of a big jackal mask, and there is a man faced off against him. Kind of looks like a gym lad in sort of sports clothing, and Tyburn drops and just punches him, punches him twice in the stomach, and before this guy has a chance to react, he's just going to go for an elbow into the face, and then sort of walk around the rings with his arms out. Tyburn himself is, he's built like a brick shithouse. However, is 5'9". He's not huge. And then after the night is over, and the entire crowd has praised him as great. His foe is left, and the hype man gets everybody to not quite go over there and have some beers whilst Tyburn feeds, and then he's going, and then just as he knows that morning is going to break, he's going to slip into the dirt under a hedge.
Excellent.
And stay in.
How does he avoid detection while doing all these things? So he kind of waits for the crowd to disperse once he's sort of finished his outdoor wrestling match?
Yep.
Fair enough. So
crowd-
it's just an
the-
just rolls
unconscious,
under a hedge.
beaten up man who is feeling worse than he possibly should.
Because he's bestial, I half expected you to say we first see him in a cage at Battersea Dog's Home. Then you mistakenly put, he's being adopted by a well-meaning young child.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, we redlined that, remember? We had two versions. We had one was Battersea Pet Home, and one was Fighting Ring in Hyde Park. But no, someone had to get antsy about the children.
I'm still salty.
I am the kind of idiot who would accidentally adopt a werewolf from a kennel. Like, it's something.
You are. You really are. All right.
I
Who
just love
is next on
dogs.
this? Let's go back to Megan.
Okay, so Megan, aka Megabyte, on any given evening, you'd find her in her van, the Batmobile. She thinks it's funny.
It is.
So it's like, yeah, so she's like got this black Ford Transit, completely unremarkable but completely legally taxed van that she spends most of her time in the back of, with all of her like hacking gear and a couple of speakers in there as well for her music. And on most given evenings, you'll find it parked up on a street corner where she'll be stealing the Wi-Fi from someone. And she'll be sat cross-legged on her chair with like 3 laptops open in front of her and these big vintage headphones on. And she'll be simultaneously like playing Warcraft and chatting on like an online forum and like bidding on some like obscure sound tech on eBay or like a dark web forum. And she's like running all 3 at once while sucking with a straw on like a pack of blood from a little chill box. In terms of how she looks, she's quite small. She's like just under 5 foot tall. She's quite small.
Wow.
And she's normally found wearing like an oversized hoodie and like baggy trousers, all the better to kind of disguise what she actually looks like. She's got this big old hood that she normally wears that hangs down over her face. If you were to see her face, she kind of looks like she's got a real bad case of leprosy. Like she's got like grey skin, everything's all deformed, got a kind of like rattish quality to her teeth and kind of mismatched eyes. It's not a pretty sight, but she usually keeps that behind the hood.
Fair enough. All right. Balthazar.
Yes. Yeah, the camera takes us sort of into the back streets of Tottenham, behind Tottenham Court Road, where there are a variety of theatres. Moves in to focus on the Fitzrovia Playhouse, where tonight's showing of Pick a Plate, Hadestown is on, and the
Like you had to decide about that one.
yeah, and it's we go up to like there's the VIP lounge effectively, which has a small one of those like Titanic style like grand staircase that swoops back that leads up and away into other parts of the theatre. About 10 minutes before the play begins, the soft chatter and music is interrupted by the sound of bass, staccato and fugue, which for those who don't know is the stereotypical spooky Halloween music, the that organ music. And at the dramatic point in the music, there is a spotlight comes onto the kind of landing of that big staircase before it sweeps up. There is a spotlight and a puff of smoke, and when the smoke clears, there is a pantomime Count Dracula. Looks like the cheapest child's entertainer. The ill-fitting dinner suit with cravat and shirt. Big, like, Ming the Merciless style collar over a very, very thin cape with a red, like, sequined interior. Truly terrifying eyebrows over white caked makeup face and a and a wig that's been kind of slicked back with several pots of gel and like a razor to define the lines. Has sort of thin gloves on with obviously fake gnarly nails as well, and really ratty shiny shoes that are quite clearly, they used to be petrol, and just appears in this flash, and then there's sounds of cheers, and it's the Duke, and he descends the stairs to what is clearly about 70% people who are in on the joke and 30% clueless newbies, as Duke Vermilion, the vampire of the Soho theatres, comes down to join
that
his
amazing name.
Comes down to join like the rest of the in crowd, and there are a few people. I think you see one person looking confused while another shows them something on their phone, which is like it's one of those like secret London type websites, which is like 5 things to watch out for on the theatre circuit, and one of them is Duke Vermilion, so he is an established piece of local culture.
Aww.
Hiding in plain sight.
Aww.
Yep.
Excellent. And that takes us very finally to our youngest member of the coterie, our babiest baby of vampires.
The
Kenneth.
Babu of the week.
Oh, this young kindred, then, unlike all the other kindreds, he's doing what a normal human does, and he's playing Pokemon Go.
It's 2017, right?
Yeah, we're playing Pokemon Go. He's with a crowd of people. He's high-fiving some people, trying to catch a Squirtle.
Squirrel.
This youngish-looking gentleman is 6'1", with short brown hair, brown eyes. He looks like he's in his like early 20s. He's wearing a red and black flannel top, some chinos, and some thick-rimmed glasses.
He's playing Pokemon Go.
He's literally playing Pokemon Go.
Is he doing well?
Oh yeah.
Is he like as highest level as you can hope to be at that point in 2017?
What team is he?
Good question. That tells us a lot.
That is a great question. I don't remember the teams.
So there's
it's
Valor, there's
Valor
Instinct, or there's
and-
Mystic.
Yeah.
Red, blue, or yellow?
I was Mystic.
He's totally yellow.
Yay!
I was Instinct.
I was
Yeah,
yellow.
Which one's yellow?
Instinct.
The friendly one.
Ooh.
I was the one with the like the lady in charge of it. Like the character was the
Yeah.
angry-looking
blue lady.
lesbian. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Mystic. My friends are either Mystic or yellow. Cool. Okay. So that's where we would normally find you. And this eclectic bunch of kindred makes up the Fitzrovia coterie. Before we get into the juicy bit of the story, we have a little bit more setup to do. See, Kenneth is a very, very young kindred. How long would you say he's been around at this point when we start the story, Casey?
About 6 months.
6 months? Okay, I was going even less than that, so that's not too bad. He's lasted 6 months. That's better than some. So, actually,
Yeah.
kudos to him. It is mid-January when our story starts. It's fucking freezing. I hope that doesn't change your Pokemon Go story there, but middle of January. Not that it bothers most of you. Kenneth, you might still want to chuck on a jacket.
I've got a jacket.
And a couple of weeks ago, just to add to the general misery of New Year once the New Year's parties have stopped and the year begins all over again, a member of your coterie was taken in for an audience with the prince. This, generally speaking, as quite an eclectic coterie, keep to yourself is a bad thing. And I actually wrote bad thing with a capital B and a capital T in my notes to emphasise how much of a bad thing that is. The prince, for those not familiar with Vampire the Masquerade, is a kind of feudalistic title of usually the oldest, or most important, or think they're the strongest, or are the strongest, or are the scariest kindred in the area. So an audience with them, unless you're right-hand person, is probably not a good idea. And accompanying the kindred from your coterie was Kenneth, and that, I said that weirdly, accompanying Balthazar was Kenneth.
Gasp!
Now, how do we want to... I had considered doing this as a quick scene, but I don't really want to get into a whole roleplay thing, but it's important to establish. So we can skip this whole thing and know it happens, and have you two arriving back at the coterie to maybe air a few things that had not previously been aired. Now, the rest of you, I'm going to say, have seen Kenneth around. You have assumed that he's something to do with Balthazar. Maybe he's a ghoul? Not sure. He hasn't been in on any of the kind of fun stuff you've done. Yeah, maybe he's just
I assumed he was a
really
fan.
into the whole panto act. Like, the Duke does attract these kind of theatre nuts. I mean, this guy looks pretty hipster. He's got those like thick rimmed glasses. He could be a theatre student. But he brings Kenneth back to the fancy townhouse of Ernest's without an appointment. Not like you'd usually bring a mortal in if someone had, their lawyer around or the cleaner was coming. So I feel like we should take it from here, and I want you guys to explain.
So what, we're having like a coterie meeting?
Yes. The rest of you you've been dragged from your van, Megan. Tyburn, you've been out most of the night, but it's getting to the wee hours, and you're back. You want a roof tonight because it's getting frosty. The ground was a bit hard. It's getting under your nails. And
it's difficult. It's difficult to.
Yes, it's nominally
difficult to slip into the earth. Yeah.
I'm back in my tower doing weird magic.
And the butler comes up and knocks on your door, but stands about 2 meters back just in
and
case.
is immediately blasted across the corridor.
I imagine they've got like a large stick that he uses to knock on Seraphima's door.
I think there's instead there's like a bell pull, quite far away from the door that you pull and it rings a bell in my room.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay, a little ding 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 ding. What?
She puts her head out. There's like smoke behind her. What is it? I'm in the middle of something.
Sorry, Lord Crabtree's called a meeting downstairs in the living room. You're coming into the house with Kenneth.
No, I know. No. That's not my character voice.
He's an NPC.
Oh, I don't know what your character voice is.
He's being an NPC
your character
in my
voice
room.
Now, too late.
You'll just have to wait there. Don't try to get out of the handcuffs.
I thought we didn't bring victims home.
Sometimes I like to play with my food.
It's good fun.
Oh boy.
Look, he has a weird kink. That's just
Seraphima, I'll close the door behind you if you would. You don't want
all right, I'm coming. She closes the door, and she places her hand on the door, and it kind of glows for a second, and you hear 800 locks going chunk 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 chunk.
Thomas just intones his head and doesn't meet your eyes. He is, by the way, as you all know, a ghoul, and he belongs to Ernest, so he's privy to far more than he possibly should be, probably wants to be, but has very little choice in the matter at this stage.
Seraphima has now got changed, by the way. She's in her customary leather trousers and black velvet and silver thread frock coat. She looks cool as all fuck.
And you all head downstairs to the shuttered dining room? Where would you hold a meeting, Ernest?
Probably the library, I was going to say.
A drawing room of some kind, I presume.
Ernest is pacing in front of the fire with his hands behind his back.
Megan's in the corner, hands in her pockets, head down, just kind of leaning against the wall, listening.
Texting.
No, she's got 3 phones on her, but she's not using any of them right now.
This house is haunted, by the way. Ernest's house, he's taken a floor of its
the townhouse itself is both creepy and haunted.
Then we may
Can I ask a quick question? I'm not entirely sure if this is how the rules work, but so you said we've seen Kenneth Charles around with the Duke.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is how this would work, but would now be a time for me to roll technology in that if I've seen his face and I've got curious, I'll have tried to work out who he is and I'll have Googled a bit to see if I've been able to kind of get any info.
You don't even need to make that roll, man. I'm famous.
Yeah.
So a simple Google.
I'm gonna say it doesn't require a roll. You know how to Google more than most people, and he is very easily searchable.
I feel like it's very much in Megan's character to assume Google would be too easy, so she's gone to the dark web first and then been like,
probably found nothing and then gone back to Google.
Even there's some drizzle. She's like, oh, this would have been. I should have done the easiest thing. I'm a fool. Tell me about yourself, Kenneth. What do I find over spending an hour?
Charles.
I feel before we get into this, I feel like we abandoned someone's description halfway through.
We were about to say where Tyburn was in the drawing room / library.
He's just doing squats in the corner.
Well, fair enough.
So, Kenneth Charles, what do I know about you from a quick Google? and
From a
assorted.
quick Google, you know that Kenneth Charles is the 20-year-old Instagram influencer. He does travel blogging and takes a lot of pictures around a lot of historical and food places.
Mm. I relay
and
this.
there may-
Sorry, go on.
There may be a video of him singing something or another as a kid.
Yeah, I've got you singing like freaking Run DMC or freaking Madonna or something, like as like a 9-year-old that was uploaded to
Yeah,
Facebook.
probably. Yeah, I assume it's like Madonna or something.
Yeah, it's like
something poppy.
Yeah, it's very, very. Yeah, I've got that. I relay all of this information to Tyburn and Ernest, and I also explain to them what Instagram is, and that's when you guys enter. When I'm about halfway through. So
That bit would take a
basically,
very long time.
You take a picture and you put it on the internet. Like,
Wait, go back, because I know that they now have, the cameras are rather small now, aren't they?
you know, imagine like a photograph, but you
Okay,
can
yes.
access it
Yes, I'm following you.
anywhere on a phone.
Okay, no, go back, because we've talked about this before. You have these
Phones
newfangled
have
phones,
screens
don't
like
you? They're not the
moving
old
paintings. We've
rotaries.
spoken about this.
Oh no, we've talked about the. I thought that was the Tave.
It's similar, but not the same. And I think at this point, you guys are going to come in.
Tyburn squats have increased frequency. He's squatting slightly faster.
Is Seraphina here yet? She'll understand what I'm talking about.
Seraphima. Megan is talking about
Megan,
moving
mate.
pictures again.
Yes, films. Or are we talking about the GIFs?
The
The geese? Why are we talking about geese?
ignore
put the
her.
GIF up.
Listen, ignore the Lord and listen to me. The fella that is here with the Duke is a Instagram influencer. Blah 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 blah. And I relay.
Okay, cool.
everything again.
At that
Oh,
point,
one of
I
those.
think I'm going to. Yeah, that's where we're going to come in. Specifically, I'm going to. Does the butler? Does Thomas usually announce people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he hasn't
Yeah.
changed
Okay.
much.
In which
but-
case,
been around a
you're
while.
going to hear the sound of Thomas protesting, while I storm ahead and kind of buff the door open.
And you just hear him from a distance going, Duke, Vermilion, and Kenneth.
Enough. And I am going to storm in. I'm not in my costume. This is possibly maybe the first time one of you maybe has seen me out of costume. It's just an exceptionally normal look outside of costume. I look like I'm in my 40s. Very unremarkable fellow, average face, average height, average hair with a haircut of average quality, in just kind of a rough, plaid shirt, bomber jacket.
That's
You've
like the
changed, I don't
painfully
like it.
normal look that vampires take on.
Exactly. Someone has clearly gone for like default extra look, with a small kind of duffel bag over my shoulder, and I'm just going to storm in and go, so all circus is here. Excellent.
Ah, Mr. Vermilion, at last we can have an explanation. Mr. Vermilion? What's this about moving pictures?
I don't know. I don't know.
I
Ask
just
the tech
literally
whiz.
shrug. I
I have tried.
You see lurking behind the Duke Vermilion a slightly awkward-looking young man. Or is he awkward-looking, actually?
he's-
How's Kenneth purporting himself at the moment?
Right now, he's he's feeling very uncomfortable.
Yeah. You're in a room of
might be
slightly
to Duke.
crazy-looking people, let's be honest.
Yeah, he's feeling a bit uncomfortable, but he's also got his phone in his hand.
Oh, please don't tell me you still have a location on that thing, and I will dump the duffel bag onto
no.
the sofa.
So
No, location's off.
I
It's
got
okay.
it. I'm already
yes,
attempting to kind of...
Megabyte, young person, do hand over the device.
Phone chum.
I'm
I'm
good.
I'm gonna walk over to you and just be like, no, hand it over. I'm just gonna install an app. It'll stop anybody tracing it. It'll take 5 minutes. Quick.
Oh, actually, that's really good. That's really good. Yeah, take it.
Thank you.
Does
Takes it,
Megan...
walks away.
You find this phone... Have you already got Blush of Life on? Because you're going to find
Yeah,
it
'cause
difficult to
this
use the
one's
phone.
a smartphone.
So
Yeah.
blush of life. So,
Yes.
come-
Your hand is too cold to activate a touchscreen. And
Ah!
And you don't
make-
sweat the kind of oils that give you
Yeah.
contact.
So
very
you start
good.
poking at it, and you're going, fuck. So you need to make I think this is going to be the first roll of the game, where, a rouse check. To get a
Tell
get a
me
little
how
bit
to
of
do
blood pumping.
a rouse check.
So you just roll a d6.
And what does that
1d10?
mean?
Sorry,
One
not
D6.
d6, sorry, d10.
D10.
I'll give that. You tell me to get the D10. So now I need
So sorry, I said the wrong
okay,
dice.
I got a D10. Just roll one D10.
Roll
I
one
have
D10.
rolled a 9.
Okay, that's fine. You don't gain any more hunger. You manage to sort of pause a moment, sort of concentrate, you feel your heart almost kind of just jitter back to life, and just put a bit of warmth back in you, and you feel the blood stirring as you have to have it do occasionally. It's a bit tiring, but you've managed it without incurring any penalties on this game, and you can use the phone now.
Yeah, I'll just occupy myself in the corner. I'm basically installing a couple of things that I know just to make. I'm checking your security and checking it's up to scratch, basically. Like nothing
Cool.
particularly secret squirrel. I'm just very knowledgeable about like NordVPNs and stuff.
So, Mr. Vermilion, won't you fill us in on this? These sort of gestures towards Kenneth.
You might want my other phone.
Raise an eyebrow. Other phone.
I need, personal, professional. Keep stuff separate.
Interesting. Unexpected.
One for
Thank you.
business, one for the hose.
I'll take the other
Sorry,
phone.
trying to pick up the slang.
I read that as HOSE. I just heard it as such, for sure.
I will take the second phone off Kenneth Charles, but let it be noted that now I'm slightly more wary of you than I was before. Because I'm like, okay, this one knows about security. I'm wary of you.
She put the app on my mechanicals, and then she taught me how to use the Tinders.
Aye. That was in character. Duke is kind of slumped on the sofa, and he goes, honestly, not much to it. Gestures at Kenneth. He's mine.
Excuse me?
My
You
children.
didn't tell us you had a baby. I'd have thrown you a party.
No, we will not be throwing parties. Good God.
Yeah, no,
But you're so young.
Can it, Your Grace? I've had enough of it from. God damn it, Megabyte! I'm imitating you again.
You're supposed to be an actor, aren't you?
Apparently,
Meg sniggers.
no, it was a few months ago. This one came around for interview. I thought would be fun, help the profile, keep the theatre up and running. You know how it's been difficult times recently. And there was a mistake partway through, and I might have thrown him off a catwalk.
Yeah,
Mr. Vermilion.
that wasn't fun.
So one thing led to another. Fortunately, camera was broken, so nothing immediately incriminating was caught.
I mean, I did get 1 million views. That was awesome.
Wait, this was recorded?
This was surprise to me as well. This was surprise to me. I thought
Wait,
it would.
how badly have you broken the masquerade, Mr. Vermilion?
I haven't.
Gosh, what did the
Otherwise,
prince
I would
have
not
to say?
be standing here.
I'm surprised you are standing here.
Thank you. I'm a
surprised
very
to be
good
standing
liar, okay? I'm good at patching things over. It's kind of my thing. So, yes, camera was broken, as was neck. I panicked.
Order.
Honestly,
Why
both
didn't
at the same
you just
time.
drink
It was a
him?
long drop, okay? We were right over main stage.
Was he doing the live streaming?
Yes.
Yes, he
Yes.
was.
Oh no.
What is streaming? Is this another word for recording?
Think of it like
Is this another
television.
word
Think
for
of it like
recording?
television broadcast, but
Oh,
to
no
internet.
more of that TV thing.
I would like to know how many hits this live stream has had, and what the top comments suggesting. Do they think it's fake? Do they think it's a marketing stunt?
What you will see is that mostly it's oh no, is he okay? Because what got caught, the incident happened because I wanted to stop the stream. So I tried to wrestle the phone out. I tried to ambush wrestle the phone out of Kenneth's hand. I did this from I did this from the darkness. So what you see is I go, "Ooh, come round this corner," and Kenneth follows me round the corner, and I'm not there. And then the camera feed gets all jerky as behind the camera I am trying to wrestle the phone off him, and then there is just stage guy, cut feed. As the phone and Kenneth tumble off the catwalk and both impact at about the same time. So it's not, oh no, a vampire, oh no, I'm dying, oh god, help me, I am in this location, latitude and longitude, oh god, what's this masquerade that you are breaking, die. It's actually it's been passed off as an accident.
I'll say...
He could have just dropped his phone, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's alright, I've got it. Yes, most people think it was an accident. They're wondering if you're alright. You might be interested to know that your Twitter subscription's gone up 300% since the incident.
Oh, no, we've noticed.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
I totally noticed.
Why did you wrestle the baby?
Did not want to break the masquerade.
But why wrestle in the first place?
Because I wanted to get the phone off him to stop him breaking the masquerade.
Why did you even make a baby? Why did you not just leave him as an accident?
I could have burned him
because
for you.
I panicked, okay? I panicked. I knew it was live. I knew feet had been cut. I knew that, I knew that mortals would be on the way, and that broken neck would lead more questions than, oh, I'm hurt, get me to hospital. So I made couple calls.
You could have called
you
us.
call me. I'm the only one you call.
Yes. I am aware of this. I was in the time. I panicked. I tried to make it a thing. It mostly worked. Okay?
Who did you call?
Can we just appreciate that I managed to turn an accidental death into a star-making turn and got a star new employee for the theatre because now Kenneth is staying around. And Kenneth is staying around. He is a what is word? Digital consultant for the theatre, helping improve our profile. And now everyone still thinks that, Duke Vermilion is, funny Dracula, not secret, maybe murderer.
But Duke Vermilion, why was he falling? Why did you wrestle in the first place?
Because he was streaming to audience of hundreds of thousands. I was also quite hungry at the time, okay? I was distracted. It was not my best night.
I don't understand the sequence of events here. Lukey doesn't understand.
That's okay, let's go back. There are problems to explaining in character. I did not realise you were going to do that accent, Jacob.
I am comedy Dracula. What else do you expect?
As far as I can tell, Casey's character was being given a tour that he was live streaming.
Yes. Yep.
And Jacob's character was like, I don't want you to live stream.
Yes.
And then did hey, look over there, and then tried to wrestle the phone out of his hand instead of asking him to stop live streaming.
Why did you want
to
to
say you
just
can't do
wouldn't.
this in the theatre?
Yeah, but he
tried to wrestle it out of his hand.
I asked several times, but apparently, live streaming is my thing,
views.
man. So
Why you not want him live stream? Why did I say
He
it
was
like
hungry.
that? Why did you not want him to live stream?
These accents, man.
I'm trying to
catching
be
up.
Okay. Enough about this streams. What did the prince have to say? Who did you call? Did you get this authorised?
Right, now I think I will interject as the storyteller, if that's all right.
yes.
And tell you exactly what the prince did say. So, for those not familiar with Vampire the Masquerade, Camarilla are basically, the feudal overlords, the traditional vampires, the ones who keep the traditional order and maintain the masquerade, and the prince is at the top. So this prince is called Constantine Glass, and he is quite terrifying in person. Most of you, I think maybe Seraphima, you might have met him in passing at a sort of chantry event.
He was at a social mixer.
Exactly. An important Elysium, which are these social gatherings of kindred.
He was at a social event that I went to. It was a charity ball. It was a blood drive.
You joke. Anyway, yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah, so a couple of you have seen him in passing, but luckily most of you have not had a reason to actually have audience with him. I won't act out the whole scene. As we said, we're going to skip that, but the gist of it was he gave you a choice. He's not a fan of Thin Bloods, which is coincidentally, not that the Duke has mentioned this to any of you guys, kind of what Kenneth is. You might be able to figure it out if you were to shake his hand or see him stand in some sunlight. But he's not quite a full vampire, the same as the rest of you. But what I was going to say is the Prince basically gave you an ultimatum. He generally advocates the removal / destruction of Thin Bloods on sight because he thinks they're a threat to the continuing existence of kindred in society and are just further diluting the blood. But that seemed a little bit harsh and he needs a favour doing. So, either Kenneth is destroyed on sight and Balthazar is outcast and therefore the entire coterie will lose your domain, which he hasn't yet mentioned, that'll be fun. Or you help him perform a particular task. Now, usually the Prince has a huge group of people who will do these various tasks, and you're sure he has secret assassins and secret councils and warlords and goodness knows what. But when you met with him, and this was uncommon, the room was quite unattended. It was quiet. He just had one of his main advisors there, a young woman visually called Eloise, who is one of his most trusted advisors. You've seen her around as well at formal events.
I really have.
And he heard you out, heard your rambling excuses, heard similar stories to what's just been regaled to the coterie here, and gave you this choice. So the thing is that his current favourite ghoul has gone missing, and he wants him back.
Did he put up some wanted posters? Maybe post a reward?
You weren't there to ask
we don't
that,
know
luckily.
this yet, so...
I would not
Keeping
say
my
that
life
to the
is the
Prince
reward.
himself. I'm not
Wait, can we just clear up? So why would Balthazar being outcast mean the rest of us would lose the domain?
Oh, that's not so much of a cause and correlation. Basically, the Prince would decree that the rest of you can bugger off as well. Because you're in a quite sought-out area of London. Fitzrovia is quite nice, backs onto Soho, full of lovely vampires and vampire clubs. So that was more of an addition to just a little bit of blackmail, just because he can. Like, he can just say, and will happen. So,
Guilty by association.
yeah, basically guilty by association.
I was going to say, well, if Ernest finds this out, he's going to be furious because he's owned this house for a couple of 100 years now.
Oh, yeah. But you'll no longer be able to be there as kindred. You just have to sneak in. Yeah, wouldn't be good. So, good luck trying to communicate that to the group, Balthazar.
So I want Balthazar to try and sell this.
Yeah, basically.
I think Duke is going to go. I've blathered enough, young guy. Boy.
Oh boy. I'm going to say that the meeting with the Prince happened a couple of days ago as well, so you've had time to recover your wits, because it was quite an unpleasant incident for everyone. You had your whole livelihood.
More for me.
And your life. Absolutely, your unlife threatened several times. He didn't even want to address you.
And a scar to boot.
Yes. Kenneth was also branded by the Camarilla, just so everyone knows what he is. So that's fun.
branded as in fire?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't heal up. Yep. So that's probably not on show at the moment, but this is something. So yeah, Kenneth, you're pushed forwards.
Yeah. I pipe up. So, I guess you guys own this area or whatnot?
You are in my house, yes.
Well, it might no longer be yours unless we help the Prince out with the thing. We gotta go find his ghoul.
There's that word
Ghoul?
we.
Vermilion.
I'm sorry. What are you saying?
Well, because I exist, we have to go find a ghoul.
Why do I, or Darling Megabyte, or Beautiful Seraphima, or Tyburn over there,
You're still
have
doing
to
push-ups.
try and work out Mr. Vermilion's mistakes?
Because the Prince said it was that way.
I assume Tyburn is still doing squats.
No, Tyburn has just come down from doing. He's grabbed onto. I'm assuming it's one of those libraries that have like the upper layer, and so he's just finished. Yeah, he's just finished doing a pull-up.
Nice.
He's just going to drop down. We have to do it, for otherwise we will lose what we have here. And I'm sure nobody wants that. So, are we going to stand around discussing it or getting angry at the fact that we have to get up and actually do some work for a change? Or are we going to get up and defend our livelihood?
Oh, he's a noble character. Didn't see that coming. Like it. The Battle of the
I think
Eyes.
Ernest is going to sink onto the sofa, give the Duke a dirty look, and then shake his head and look up at the photo above the mantelpiece. And you have all seen this picture many times. It was drawn many years ago, and it is of Ernest and his husband and sort of they haven't aged a day. But it was drawn in the 1850s, and he just looks up and was like, "What would Theodore say?"
Firstly, does this ghoul have a name?
Yes. You were given a small amount of information. The ghoul's name is Ash Tiwari, and I can write that down in the chat.
Thank you.
Listeners at home, the name's going in the chat, so helpful.
Ash Tawari.
And you were also given a phone, which is how they found out about the missing. Because obviously it's not super uncommon for people to go off and do their own things, even for a week or so. But how it was expressed to you by Eloise after the prince stormed out, having just had enough of all of this ridiculousness. Most of the inner circle do not use such things, such dangerous little black masquerade breaches waiting to happen sitting in your pockets. But eventually it found its way to them. This was a message intended for the prince when someone recognised the photo on the phone that had been sent to this phone as one of Ash, who they'd seen around the prince, obviously.
So run that by me again. So this phone that we're holding got a photograph of Ash sent to it.
Yes.
Whose phone is it? Whose phone is it?
It was a member of the what's it called, Primogen Council.
So one of
their coterie members, but like alone. It's gone through a lot of people going like, "What is this? What's a phone? I don't want to touch it. Isn't that the ghoul? Wait a minute, that's the guy." And so it's passed around, and you don't actually know its complete provenance. But basically, it's intended for the prince. So the message was titled "Prince." That was it, and then there was just a picture attached.
Can we just for the sake of listeners and also me, just let everyone know what a ghoul is in the context of the game?
A ghoul is a mortal who has been bound to a kindred by partaking in drinking their blood/vitae. The book loves to synonyms for everything. So if the blood belongs to a kindred, aka a vampire, it's not called blood anymore. It's called vitae. Vitae? How would you say it? Vitae? Vitae?
However you want, consistently.
Well, there we go. That stuff, the juicy red stuff that ain't so alive anymore. And it has basically binding properties. So in like other vampire fiction, they're referred to as thralls, or I don't know, it comes up in other places. The Vampire the Masquerade is definitely not the first one to do it. So basically they become loyal to you, gain some supernatural sort of abilities such as very slow / halted aging. And
but they're not dead.
But they're not dead, no, they're still mortals. So they're kind of like this awkward line. So they're not what Kenneth is either. They're not a thin blood, but yeah, and they're kind of a bit more privy to the whims and wills of their regent or creator. So in this case, this is someone the prince has fed blood to, and is now just very loyal to him. And it's sort of kept as pets or servants or useful contacts. Some people, if you get your bagged blood from a hospital, you might have a ghoul working for you in the hospital who can smuggle out some blood every week or two.
Drink
Stuff
it like a
that,
Capri Sun.
And Thompson is Ernest's ghoul, so a very, very loyal butler who's seen way too much.
Nice.
Right.
Okay.
Megabyte. Can you find anything from this device?
Chuck it over.
I think Blush of Life lasts an hour, so you're good to touch stuff. You're good to touch stuff.
I'd also
Casey, let me know if that's wrong.
No, it depends on your blood.
Your blood potion?
Humanity.
Okay.
My
Humanity, but
humanity
usually one hour.
Where is my humanity? It is at the standard 7.
Cool.
Okay, yeah, you're good. You're good for an hour.
Cool.
I mean, I can come help you if you need. Like, I know the internet. I'm good.
Not like her, you don't.
No, I'm good. She's not interested in your help right now. She might be back. One thing I will say, it's a little bit cheeky retroactively, but I didn't realise about the blush thing. So can I have it that at least one of Megabyte's phones is like a burner? It's like a Nokia that she's modded.
Absolutely.
So she can push the buttons. So it's basically an iPhone that she's stuck a keyboard on.
Oh god,
It's
yeah,
kind
of
a
course,
main
because that
phone,
just makes
so
a lot
she
of
can
sense.
get
Yeah.
round having to worry about that.
Yeah.
The
Anyone else?
most
No.
retro.
Yeah, but you're a
She's
hacker.
got, like,
come on.
Yeah, like she's worked her way around. Yeah, so basically, what I want to do with this, I'll ask actually Casey when Kenneth comes to me. I will be like, have you got the name of the person who owned this phone?
Me?
Or anybody?
You didn't get the name.
May
The
I
owner?
interject here? Can I get a retroactive, like a charisma roll or something for how much information I got out of Eloise?
Yeah.
That's a very good idea and a fair call. Yeah. So that would probably be a charisma. Were you just trying to be nice to her? I think it might just be-
This is partly me wanting. This is partly me doing business. Give me a second. I have. Let's see. Yeah.
Persuasion. Probably.
Yeah.
Charisma persuasion, because I think you weren't trying to manipulate. You're not in a position to do that. I tell you now.
Yes. So yeah,
So,
my
yeah.
charisma is 3 and my persuasion is 1. So
So does that mean that you roll 4 dice?
that means that I roll
Yes,
4
that is
dice, and
correct.
because I'm at hunger level 1, my hunger I have one of those is a red die.
Correct.
Why are you at hunger level 1?
Just
Because
you
that's where we
We
start
should,
the game.
we should all be at least
Okay.
Yeah.
hunger 1.
You often
I
start the game
understand
with like
nothing.
a rouse check when you wake up. I've kind of just skipped that because we're
Yeah.
just doing so many other establishment things. We'll do that tomorrow
Yay.
in game. But yeah.
Cool. So, what difficulty am I looking for?
I'm just deciding on difficulty. Roll your dice. I'm thinking about it.
Oh,
I need to
for
tell you beforehand.
fuck's sake.
I'm going to say it's only a 2 because she wants you to. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you roll?
2 went off the table, but of those that stayed on. Okay, that was... Oh, wow. That was 4 successes, one of
Jesus
which
Christ.
was... and that 10 was a messy crit.
So do you have 2
Is it 2 turns or just 1 turn?
Just the
All
one
right. So
10.
what do
No,
these
that's-
terms
Okay,
mean?
let's... Okay, cool.
So what do these terms mean? So you roll the number of dice that you've got like dots in skills. So that was Jacob tallied up 4 between charisma and persuasion. And then I decided the difficulty for this was 2 because she is going to be inclined to give you some information, so it's not super hard. But also she's very hard to read ancient vampire, so probably not like the easiest person to talk to. So difficulty 2. He needed to meet or beat, so let's get 2 successes out of 4. A success on a Vampire the Masquerade 10-sided dice is a 6 or above. So Jacob rolled 4 6s or above. That's pretty good. And then if he were to get a critical of any sort, that would be 2 10s. So it's not like a d20 where you roll 20 and that's critical. You have to roll a 10 on 2 dice. And if one of those was on his hunger dice and one was on a normal dice, the hunger dice turns into a messy critical. But if they were both on his regular dice, then it's just a critical. And he does it perfectly, really well, and maybe gains some extra information. So, yeah, well, I feel like that was pretty good, but not a crit. So she's going to tell you everything she'd normally tell you, but maybe nothing, sparkly and
Juicy.
extra that, juicy gossip, yeah. So what you don't get from, what was her name? Eloise. Eloise Chapelle is her name. She's French sounding, very faint accent, very tiny woman, Clan Ventru. She's, I can't pronounce the word that the book uses, but like the prince's most trusted advisor. So speaking to her is also somewhat of a-
Seneschal.
Seneschal, thank you.
The right hand.
The right hand, the prince's right hand. So speaking to her is also somewhat scary experience. She's one of these people you look at her and you kind of want to look away, but you also can't stop looking at her, and you're not sure whether that's fear or whether she's just really good looking or both. But that's quite a lot with
It's
quite
both,
quite
and
a lot
it's
of the older
amazing.
kindred have that. Yeah, okay. Seraphima's used to this. That's what she aspires to. So she doesn't tell you where the phone came from. She, every time you kind of say, but whose was it? She's someone in the council, the coterie of someone in the council. Farther down the line, I don't know, I don't care. It doesn't matter. The message was for the prince. She either doesn't know, so you think you've asked very politely, and she doesn't seem offended by your questioning. So like it goes well as she tells you other things. But she talks about the phone, and the message was sent last week. On a Friday, and I'm going to say you're currently around like Thursday now. But the message didn't get to the prince for a while because of the lack of use of technology within the camera. It's just not really done. So whoever sent this clearly didn't think that or was willing to let the message get there very slowly. And otherwise, the phone was basically a burner. It's one of these Nokias with like a better screen. Let's say it's like a BlackBerry or something. So it has like a keyboard, but obviously it was for use by a kindred. So they have done similar to what Megan does, but it can receive pictures. And so this is basically all you've got. And they just went, she said, someone's clearly threatening him. He assumes it's something to do with the Second Inquisition, but whoever it is, they know this Ash's importance.
They know the ghoul, they know the
They've
relationship.
chosen him.
Aside from the facetious answer of everyone, who are the prince's principal enemies?
There's been a lot of Second Inquisition activity going on, and you have heard of some coteries broken up and certain kindred picked off. Whether that was for masquerade breaches or just otherwise, you're not sure. Worryingly, possibly both. So it wasn't just in response to obvious masquerade breaches. They seem to have some other intel. And this may explain why the prince was meeting with you, which he wouldn't normally, honestly. It would be delegated to someone else, and maybe Kenneth would have just been hunted down. But he did take the time, yet he was devoid of a lot of his usual advisors and people around him.
Yeah.
So there's clearly some strain, I'll give you for all your successes, on the regency, or whatever you want to call it, at the moment. Second Inquisition comes up first. Obviously there's a kind of resistance to the Camarilla rule in London anyway, so there's various anarch movements, but none of them are super central. to where you are and where the prince is located, and sort of the inner London circle is mostly Camarilla held. So, could be that. Always could be that. But targeting a ghoul is very particular and personal.
Someone clearly knew that this was someone knows who and what they are dealing with.
Yes, but they also know how to use a phone.
Yes, and what is this? Looks like a ransom note. Is my first instinct.
Eloise agreed with that.
What does the ghoul mean to the prince? Because ghouls generally aren't important. Not that they're useful. So what hold does Ash have over the prince that the person who holds Ash?
Probably information.
Well, I'll tell you what she told you about Ash that you wouldn't get from the picture or anything else. So, Ash Tiwari has been the prince's ghoul for about 3 years. So not super long time. He's 27. And will probably stay 27 until he ceases being a ghoul, or otherwise.
I mean, tradition dictates, right?
Yeah. He's an investment banker, currently, or was. He's the son of an actress who's recently turned to be an MP. His father, who was also a stockbroker and is now deceased some years ago when he was a teenager, and there's no particular news on him. And
his mum's an MP, sorry, just to check
yes,
that.
his mum is an MP, yep.
Cool. Noted. Continue.
And he's an only child. He's... relatively decent fortune. Just kind of seems like classic Ventru kind of fare. Maybe not for someone as high as the prince necessarily, but it doesn't seem out of character, so maybe it could have been sort of ghouling him with eye to eventually siring him, but Eloise doesn't give you that sort of information because that's the dirty gossip that you're absolutely not privy to. But absolutely. That's kind of implied, I think.
Yep, cool.
Yeah, so, and then do you want to know what the picture looks like?
Yeah, so just, I know, Lukey, you wanted to look at the phone. Can I just do some, given I literally took the phone, can I quickly do some stuff? Yeah, so straight up, what's the picture? Show it to the group.
Okay. So, the picture is of a confused young Asian man. His skin is so sallow in the picture that he almost looks grey rather than brown. And he's sitting in a very beautifully tailored suit. You can see even in the slightly pixelated picture how well fitted it is to him. Although it's now a little worse for wear. He's tied to a chair, and his expression is somewhat hazy. And in his lap is propped a newspaper. It just looks like a copy of the Metro. Like, it doesn't look like, anything particular. You can't
London
tell
Metro,
here.
Presumably.
London Metro, yeah. No, London Metro.
What's the date? Can we see?
Yes, you can see the date. The date is last Friday.
Last Friday. Today is
Thursday the week after. Yeah.
Okay,
so
just under a week ago. Anything else in the background of the picture? Is it too grainy to tell? What's the lighting like? One
other key thing is the newspaper propped in his lap is on its side, so when you zoom in you can just about tell the date by. You probably cross-search like the headline and what was the headline that day, because
I will be doing that. I can't do that right away, but I will be going to my van and doing that. Yep.
But the other key thing is the paper has been written on over like the kind of block of text at the bottom. And it looks like it's been scratched over again and again, like someone's tried to write in biro and then realised it couldn't be picked up by the camera maybe, and then kept writing over and over and over, and the text says hours.
Hours, just the word hours.
Belonging to.
Yeah,
okay. Not time.
No French H.
O-U-R-S.
O-U-R-S, yes.
Okie dokie.
So that's been like ripped into it, and he's just sitting and looking a little bit out of it, and you can see he's clearly tied to the chair.
Looking out of it, as been beaten to a pulp and is only just coming to consciousness, or has recently, say, come down from a suction-induced orgasm, or what?
He looks more... Thanks for that phrasing. It's hard to tell, but he looks very pale, so maybe someone's fed on him, or he's
but
looking
no obvious signs of
queasy,
injury.
or he's been drugged. No, there's no physical signs of injury, so you don't see any arms or funny ankles.
But he's clearly been fiddled with. Metaphorically or physically.
He's either been whacked over the head or given some drugs, or like is really exhausted. Something like there's something, slightly off. He doesn't look like he's currently resisting in this picture. So,
Cool. I just got a few more questions for this moment because like Megabyte will do this in like a couple of seconds. When was the picture sent? Timestamp, or when was the picture received?
Oh god, I don't actually write down the timestamp, but it would have been around
day or night is what I'm thinking basically.
Night.
Any signs of light in the picture?
No, none.
All artificial light, as far as we can tell.
So I'm going to say it was sent at 11:47 p.m.
Cool.
And I'll write that down to keep consistent.
No reason to believe there's any chicanery going on with the picture. Scroll left and right. Any other pictures on the phone?
No.
Literally just that?
Literally just that.
Is the phone blank other than that?
Yeah. It looks like everything's been deleted very much. So I just wanted to give you this,
Interesting.
So the phone is basically just a fancy photo frame at this stage.
At this stage, yeah, there's nothing else.
Was the photo sent like on the same day that the newspaper's from, or?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was the end of that day.
Same
Yep.
day. Cool. I will be. I'm just going to say this like to everybody else. Like, I'll take it to when everyone's done with it. I'll take it to my van and see if I can find anything else. I want to pull the phone records of this phone, see if it's made calls previously, if it's been wiped between when the picture was sent and when we received it. And I'll also see if I can get any more information on the location. Serafina, you look like you have something to say.
Well, I just because we're talking about the prince and who might be angry at him, there's been some chatter around the blood cooler at the chantry. You know what I mean?
The blood.
We like our
cooler.
blood cold. People aren't happy with him in the chantry. They say he's not doing enough against the Inquisition. All ineffective gestures. He's not bringing out any forces. Because he wants to lull people into this false sense of security, make everyone think he's in control, when in reality, it's slipping through his fingers.
Kenneth raises his hand. What is a chantry and a second inquisition?
Ernest sighs.
You have a
Yes.
baby, you have him for weeks, and you haven't told him anything.
All right. I'm
I'd
going
like-
to go to my van. You there, Kenneth? Is that your name?
Just, you can call me Ken.
Ken. Right.
I will
You said
not.
you can use the internet. You know how to type and use a computer.
Yep.
Right. You've just been promoted to research assistant. You're coming with me. I'll explain everything on the way.
Wait, Serafina grabs a really, really big book from a shelf and shoves it at you. Read this.
Why would I read that?
It's
Oh, you
Twilight.
mean him? Sorry. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, it's Twilight.
No, I love that. I love that there's occasionally Serafina will just be like, Megabyte, read this!
And it's
prefer my
always
text on
Twilight.
screen.
Every
This
time I
huge
do that
book.
to Megabyte, it's Twilight.
This huge book hits me in my chest. I stumble back a little bit. I'm like, oh god, it's heavy.
You can speak ancient Sumerian, yes?
Duh. Serafina, I
No.
doubt.
I've
Alright,
got a
get the
translator app.
translation.
It's fine.
Tyburn, get the translation. It's up the top.
He just bar pulls his way up.
Is it like an even bigger
Doesn't even use
book?
the
Just
just
to
jumps.
translate the dress.
So much bigger.
Oh yes.
It's got
Oh yes.
footnotes.
What
Yeah. And clearly
what time
struggling.
of day is it? Or night?
night.
What time
It'll
is
be
it?
time of night,
Current.
otherwise you guys would be very tired. I think I said it was early morning, so you've probably got a couple of hours
Okay.
of the day left, of the night left.
All right.
I'm just going to take some getting used to, yeah.
I think a good game plan might be I will go down with the kid and we shall start Googling things. I think somebody should talk to Thompson, see if he knows anything going on with the ghouls or anything like that.
They have a club.
Yes.
Lord Ernest, that can be your job. Keep yourself occupied, pour yourself a blood brandy. Yeah, and there was something else I was going to suggest as well, and I've completely forgotten what it was.
I want to do a spell on the phone before it leaves the room.
You can hang on to the phone for a minute. You can bring it down. I'll be in the garage. You can bring it down when you're ready. So the things I'm going to be Googling, just so you've got a heads up, H, is I'm going to be looking at, when I've got the phone, I'll be looking at the phone records. I basically want to find out if the phone's been wiped between when we got the between when the picture was sent and when we received it. I want to see if it's made any calls.
Cool.
I'll be doing that in a bit. I'll definitely be Googling the name of the ghoul and particularly the surname, find out everything I can on this MP Mum. I'll also do I might delegate that to you, Ken. Do some basic Googling. I'm sure you can handle that. I will also be looking into. I'll be just trawling police channels and feeds for missing person reports or any kind of sign of any ransom demand coming through back channels, anything like that. If they're maybe trying to offload this person to a buyer, that sort of thing is what I'm going to be looking for.
Okay. Good.
And the other thing I'll
Check
want to
the dark
do
web to see if he's been listed for sale.
Yeah, well, if there's anything that pertains, the other thing I will be doing at some point is I'll be pulling up the picture on my biggest and most high resolution screen, and I will be seeing if I can find any way to work out the location. Is the other thing I'll be doing, and I will not be saying enhance. I will just be looking at it.
Enhance,
Zoom and enhance.
I
Zoom
will
and
not. I will not
enhance.
say the words zoom and enhance.
Tyburn will accompany you to your van and sort of sit in it for about 5 minutes and then ask his question. He's sort of staring at the screen, sort of slightly befuddled. just sort of sitting in the well, not he's not like he's not like silent. He's just not making any great contributions.
As I'm googling,
just,
I'll say after you've been sitting there for like 5 minutes, I'll be typing away, and I'll say, "You're damaging my calm. Do you have a question?"
Oh yes. The father, is he really dead, or is he somewhat undead?
That's a great question. Ken, Google it.
Google's is father dead?
Is father
Not
dead?
literally. Google.
Whose father?
What's Ken's intelligence?
Father of the Google.
I feel like I've thrown so much at Ken, I'm like, let's see if he can swim, kind of thing.
Okay. I can look things up. I'm not an idiot.
Ken, you've become the intern, and then Tyburn just leaves.
Yes, we're hazing the vampire intern. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, you are. You literally are. I expected worse, so I'm happy.
Throwing books at him.
Right, Matt, you're gonna have to remind me of some of those questions because that's a lot. But let's
That's
it's
yeah.
gonna take a while to
I
hack
can
through it,
I can rewind you. I was assuming I'll get all the answers, like not this session, but probably next.
Okay,
one.
that's fair. Cool. That might help
And
for
like the
someone.
answers can be like no data. I just thought that's where my
that's
brain
fine.
would go.
No, some of them are good questions. Some of them are very good questions.
I'll type them in the chat while you'll because we left a load of people in the main room so they can kind of be role playing, or Ken and Tyburn can be chatting.
So Duke Vermillion came back from the vampire lavatoire. Do vampires?
No, we're not going down this road.
Okay.
And is
The
immediately
answer is no.
like
Fair enough.
greeted with an annoyed Seraphima who goes, "You embraced him and you didn't even tell him what the masquerade is, or what a chantry is, or what my accent is doing, or hold on, I need to get deep again."
Well,
Hold
some
on.
of those things sound like a you problem for a start.
Me problem. You had the baby.
Secondly,
She is entirely correct.
Firstly, it is Childa. Secondly, it was an accident. Third, I've been trying, just under a lot of pressure, okay?
Hey, I gave you that hex bag to make your theatre successful. If it's not working, you're not wishing hard enough.
Do you sleep with it under your pillow?
I just did not want to say anything because everything seemed to be fine. I was trying to bring it in. I've just been trying to bring him in gently and subtly so that I could introduce him at, my speed and make it and make it properly. It was part of papering over the cracks. Sometimes these things take time. Obviously, someone ratted him out.
He looks somewhat unusual.
Is that just because he looks like someone from the 21st century?
Potentially. Seraphina, you think this too, don't you? He looks unusual. There's
smells-
something off.
Wait, can I do like a retroactive sniff test to say that while he was in the room I was sniffing him?
Yeah, sure. You can sniff the air where he's left. It smells like lynx.
I can fully imagine that Ernest was far too concerned about his own issues at the moment to really think about it, and now in hindsight is like, there was something odd about that.
I
What
walk
deodorant
over
does
to
Kenneth
where he
wear?
was standing and I start sniffing, and then I
How obnoxious is it?
I almost flatten myself on the floor, and I my
God.
tongue goes out and I on the floor.
Lovely. Is this a weird Tremere thing, or is this just a general check?
This is a Seraphima thing. Well, okay, so I can tell what someone is from their blood, but I don't think he was sort of bleeding all over the floor.
He wasn't.
Nope.
No.
I can sense the unseen.
I'm sure I would have
Is a
noticed if he
thing
was
I
just
can
openly
do.
bleeding.
It's not really supernatural. You're trying to get
No.
something chemical off him, really. Here, I would say.
Yeah. Let me see.
I think she was.
I mean,
sniffing
I
the
could
floor after.
I
yeah,
could
but we
just
can
go to the van and
sniff.
I could go and just stick him in the neck and have some of his blood.
Yeah. Well,
You could try.
up to you. What would you
Oh,
like
but-
to do? You can sniff the floor, and that's obviously going to be a harder difficulty because you're trying to sense after he's gone, or you can just go poke him in the finger with a pin and lick it.
Okay. Well, first thing I'm gonna do, I wanna do some spells on the phone, and then when I take it, I'm gonna poke him with a finger and lick it.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, I want to look for magic on this phone.
Magic traces on the phone. Oh god, again, I don't know what this would be now.
Sense the unseen.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have a thing for that?
Yeah. That's literally my thing. That's
Nice.
So it's an Auspex 1 thing. This game confuses me. So it's
alright, we'll get there.
spy upon the character. No, wait, sorry. This can be used from anything from another vampire using obfuscate to someone using Auspex to spy on the character to a ghost in the middle of the room. Dormant blood sorcery spells and rituals might also be found with this power at the storyteller's discretion.
Okay, so this would be more like something dormant, but it's kind of the history of, so...
Yeah.
It's going to be quite difficult, because... Yeah, well, let's see. Do I also need to tell you what you're rolling on aside from all specs?
Yeah, it's page 249 in the book.
It's either wits or resolve, depending on if it's hidden.
Wits
or
plus...
if it's just...
Oh, hold on. Yeah, so the...
Yeah, I've not learned all of these. There's so many combinations.
Really?
Hold on, give me a second. Yeah. I'm gonna grab it. I'm just trying to remember who's got...
So resolve...
God,
I mean, I have the same in wits and resolve, so it doesn't actually matter.
Okay.
Yes. So what do I do?
You roll a bunch of d10s.
Thank you.
Number equal to the number of dots that you're gathering here. So if you go for resolve, then you go for...
3.
Was it also awareness, or was it just all specs?
Okay. And what was the thing about hunger? Do I need to care?
One of those dice will be of a different colour, such that you can tell what its result is. And if you just roll and tell us what the overall result was and what the result on the blood dice was.
Okay, iron die is blood. Okay, so add them together, or...
Nope, just tell me how many are 6 or above.
Okay, 3 were a 6 or above, including the blood die, which was an 8.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Yeah, that is a success. This wasn't, like, super easy to do, but basically what you're gathering is no magic has been cast on this phone recently. It seems to be a perfectly mundane piece of horrible human mortal technology, and does not seem cursed, nor... Yeah, thanks. Doesn't seem cursed or anything the like. It's not been touched by a Tremere sorcerer such as yourself.
Okay, in which case
I think
just go, okay, ugh, and I take it down to the garage and give it back to Meg. And when I'm there, I go to Kenneth, hold still, I need to do something. And I take, like one of those really sharp hairpins out of my hair, and I just give him, like, a prick on the finger.
And I'm going to try and avoid that.
Okay.
Like, why would anybody stand still and...
Doctors do it all the time!
Are you a doctor?
Oh god, now what are we rolling? That's going to be some kind of dexterity athletics.
Dex athletics for me.
Yeah, dex athletics for you to avoid, and then Seraphima probably is contested, isn't it?
So
yeah, dexterity athletics as well.
Yeah.
Probably brawl.
Brawl?
It's probably
because
brawl.
you're trying to stab.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay. Or even melee.
Well, I don't have anything in either of those, so just dexterity, I guess. 1, 2, 3.
I guess so.
Dex athletics.
I got
rolling dice.
A 6, a 3, and a 10, and the 10 was on my blood die.
So the 6 and the 10, that's 2 successes.
Oh, son of a bitch!
What did you get?
I just got 1 success.
Oh no. Okay, she get. Where'd you stick him?
Just the tip of his finger, which actually really painful.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And then
Ow.
I just go, oh, calm down. You've had worse than this. And then so there's a little bit of blood on the pin, and I just lick it off it.
May I interject?
No. Yes.
I would like to interject that I'm going to try and slap it out of her hand.
You're
and
not there! Did you follow me down with the
Did
phone?
you follow her down?
I would like to have followed her down.
Okay.
And when I see she's doing this, I want to slap it out of her hand with wait, no touch, they're mine.
It's true.
Do you want me? Do you
like
want me to
still
make another
one level
check?
blood bonded to? Yeah, you're gonna have to make another. So you got 2 successes. So let's just carry Seraphima's 2 successes on, and let's say this is another. Yeah, either brawl or melee or brawl. This is brawl.
I have two dots in celerity, and which is the quick violence one, and I'd like to use that.
Okay, I think that makes sense.
So
Does
this
it,
is.
He's not going to have a power to be able to do anything.
No, but does the roll make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, to get there? Sure.
So it's at a static difficulty of 2.
Yeah.
I have 2 dots in dexterity. I have 2 dots in dexterity. I have 1 dot in brawl, and then does that mean I'm adding 2 bonus dice because I'm using celerity to enhance it?
No, because you at level 2 celerity, you do not have a combat celerity power.
Okay, fine. So it's just 3 dice then.
Thanks, Casey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, for fuck's sake.
Exactly, that's what I thought.
Okay, that's 2 successes.
Ooh, a tie.
Then your celerity does push it over because
you have a discipline.
That's the first time ever
Is that how it works then? If there's a discipline at play, then that pushes it over?
Celerity specific.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, God, this is a learning curve. All right, so Seraphim, you didn't even see him follow you down. You were just leaning into the van, like, stay still. He tries to duck. He thinks you're going for the neck. You instead grab his hand and delicately flick his finger. Ow! Oh, come on, you've seen worse. And then, just as you're bringing it to your lips, the Duke's hand kind of shoots out from behind you and pushes the pin away from your mouth. I'll say not like out of your hand because it was a tie, but like he stops you licking it and sort of pushes you off balance.
It's bad manners to taste someone else's meal without asking permission.
What are you hiding, Duke?
Not hiding anything.
What is he?
At this point, I'd like to say there are like precisely 3 too many people in my van. Get out.
Sorry.
You heard it.
Tyburn,
Let
you
the
can
lady
stay.
work, and I will attempt.
Okay.
Yeah, and I will.
Tyburn and Casey can stay. You two can get out.
See,
You
Casey,
heard
just-
Tilda. Stay. And I will. Yeah, yoink the needle out of Seraphina's hand.
She
As
doesn't
we turn
want you
away.
because that's her hairpin and she likes it. And she uses it in her magic.
Lord.
I'm basically, as long as I'm just holding it tight enough that I wipe the blood off as I let go, that's fine.
This is going to be a little like this is like siblings when one person's got the thing and the other person wants it. You're just going to be like grabbing
Mum
backwards
said it's
and forwards.
my turn to hold the bloody hairpin.
Roll to snatch the bloody hairpin, both of you. So this is going to be.
What is it now?
Is speed again. So this is going to be dexterity. Who can get it out of the way? Who can grab it faster? So definitely dexterity and
Brawl.
brawl.
Yeah.
You guys are
The
fighting now
pettiest-
outside the van.
pettiest
Megan
brawl.
is sorry, Megan.
We're having like a really sad little fight.
It's
It's
having a little like slappy pin.
That is 1 success.
That's 3 successes, baby.
Okay, you just shove it into your mouth.
Okay, now I have to make a resolve and blood sorcery roll to see it with a difficulty 3 to see if I know what it is. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice.
Please fail.
She's just staring
Please
at you
fail.
wildly with like
She's
these
like
big eyes and a pin
swirling
sticking
it
out
around
of
her mouth.
like a lollipop.
So what's the difficulty if it's difficulty 3? What number does it have to be?
So you just have to roll 3 successes or above. So
Oh,
it's a
okay.
6. It's always a 6 or above. Like the dice are
1,
always
2, 3, 4 successes.
Nice. Did you get a crit? That's any 10s?
I don't think so, and they've rolled away now, so
That's okay.
Too
Probably
late to
doesn't matter
check.
in this case.
with a win, the user can determine the resonance and intensity of the blood. If human, they can also identify whether the blood belongs to a mortal, ghoul, vampire, or other supernatural creature. Also determines the relative blood potency and thus the likely generation band of the vampire. A critical win reveals something else.
Okay.
But that's
Yeah.
unrelated.
So what's your blood potency, Kenneth?
So, this is a vampire. You know it's a vampire.
Yeah.
However, it is the weakest vampire blood you have ever tasted. It is blood potency 0. It's barely even vampire.
You're surprised it's vampire, and yet
Can't believe
Now-
it's not human.
it has a faint flavour, I think, of the Duke about it, but that will probably fade with time.
Ugh, tasted that before. So, how do we feel about Thin Bloods? How do we feel about the creation of Thin Bloods?
Personally and emotionally, that's up to your character. I think those of you with like closer ties to the Camarilla will have been brought up in the culture that they're pretty bad, nasty,
Yeah.
weak.
At the
That's
very
the
least,
thing.
they're an embarrassment.
Precisely, they're kind of an accident.
I think I don't care culturally, but I think I know that, like, with the culture around us, they are... Well, I mean, he's already caused one big problem for us, and now I understand why. So I think I'm not mad at him for being a thin blood, I'm mad at Duke for having a thin blood, creating one, and not telling us about it.
I'll just add that Megan's main touchstone is that she loves outcasts and those that are like kind of cast out and looked down upon. So knowing that
You're
Ken's a
perma
thin
intern.
blood will probably make her like look on him more favourably.
Yeah, I think Seraphima, she tastes the blood and she like goes, "Puh, and then she looks at Kenneth and she looks really sorry and she goes, oh, my poor little childer, I'm so sorry.
Yes, okay, I've screwed up. We've established this now. Can we
You
please move
do
on?
not talk. You are in trouble.
Oh, was that... Oh, sorry, was that not obvious before? Not only have I made an illegitimate children, I can't even make a proper illegitimate children. Is that enough for you now, Serafina? Is enough of my dirty laundry out in the air for you,
I don't care about your dirty laundry. In this air, I care that it was aired in front of the prince.
Oh,
And
yes,
you didn't
I
tell
tried to
us
keep...
about it. You didn't give us warning.
What was I supposed to say? I'm sorry, your face is a fuck-up and a liability. I had it handled, but then I didn't have it handled.
If you don't have it handled, then you didn't have it handled.
I did not know I didn't have it handled until I didn't have it handled,
You
okay?
should
Now,
always
please.
know that you never have it handled.
I have had it handled for 40 years. Can anyone else dress up in the makeup like that? No! I managed it!
That's the
Excuse
one
me,
thing
excuse me,
you've
good
handled.
lady, good sir. Could I offer you a glass of water in this tense moment?
Shut
Thompson.
up, Thompson!
Butler has appeared. Okay.
Bring Ernie down here.
He will slide Kenneth a glass of water and retreat upstairs.
I take the water and drink it.
I notice.
Does the children know? Does he know? Does he know what he is? You know you're a vampire, but do you know you're a thin blood?
Yes, he has to on the basis that he didn't combust in open daylight at some
Okay.
point in the last
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah, and the
Does
prince possibly called him some different words that weren't too
He
nice.
called me some very colourful words.
Very colourful words. Not,
I'm slowly realizing you guys can't do what I do.
yeah. And like, I was gonna say, the prince didn't like call you them, in anger or anything. It was just dismissive. Like, why would you bring like this dirty stray dog in here?
Using
I
a
don't
slur
want it in here.
casually.
Yeah, very, very casual slur. Also, don't forget, you're literally branded.
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. I know what I am now.
So Kenneth's reaction to this might be a little telling. I don't know how you're handling your face and your expressions right now.
I think Tyburn in this moment will just sort of lean forward. In this moment, you are as of yet unproven. Thereby, we do our job, you prove yourself, and I won't eat you. Are we clear?
Wow.
I look at Tyburn, finish my glass of water. Sure.
Then we are settled. Now, I'm going to get out of this van. And then Tyburn sort of he pushes himself forward. It is not the exit that he wanted.
Does the van do that thing where like it rocks from side to side
Yep.
because he's so beefy? It like.
Big large man.
And just in time, Ernest is led down the stairs by Thompson, as requested by Serafina.
I think as good old Ernie comes down the stairs, I look at Duke and I go, "You want to tell him?"
Have we found something out about the ghoul?
No, it's quite
it
difficult to
just
concentrate.
It's just, my childer is not a proper childer. My childer is a thin blood, alright?
You made a
Yes, I know, it's very surprising. Look how
Vermilion!
much your face fucked up.
duskborn.
Are we done here?
A duskborn.
Poor
Oh,
little
just
thing.
do the posh processing internally for once, Ernest. I'm going to get something to eat.
You should have
and
some
I think he storms off.
responsibility. You barely teach the poor lad.
And he's gone.
He's half-formed.
You're just shouting at
What
the
were you
stairs.
thinking? You're literally shouting up the stairs at him.
Yeah, Kenneth, you hear all of this half-formed.
I
Don't
am.
use that word.
I'm gonna.
What
I'm gonna,
would
I'm gonna see
Theodore
if I'm
say?
gonna see if I can remain composed.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's fair.
For
Like,
you.
now the old Ventru Lord has come downstairs and is sort of calling your names, and it's all very reminiscent of when the old Ventru Prince was calling your names, and it's not a great feeling. You're a little out of your depth anyway. You've had to like eat people, and this is quite a lot.
I'm loving Duke responding like a man discovering he's impotent.
Swimmers
Swimmers don't
is.
swim.
That's basically
I-
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I have vampiric erectile dysfunction. This is what's going on right now.
So I think Kenneth visibly is getting a little bit frustrated about everybody talking about him, not to him, and all the threats.
That's
sitting next to Ken, I've been kind of from the moment I found out he was a thin blood, I've kind of had my eye on him. I'm going to notice this, and I'm just going to kind of Megabite's going to reach out with a hand, but she's aware of how ugly she is, so she's kind of kept her hand in her sleeve rather than like laying a really ugly hand on your arm. She's just going to kind of do it within the sleeve, and without looking at you, she's going to keep it under the hood. She'll just be like, "It gets easier."
Ernest is still just walking in circles like, Theodore is going to be so upset. Oh, he doesn't have this of his coterie. Oh, whatever will he say? Oh, we had such a nice dinner planned.
Calm down.
Calm down. Come. Thompson, make a room
Sir.
for the boy.
Give him
already
some
on
You
it,
eaten?
sir.
Boy, you eaten? You hungry? You fed?
That's you.
Childer.
Me? The name's Ken.
Childer.
I'm good.
Okay, we'll have a room here for you. Oh, Thompson, get him a key as well.
Sir, already on it, sir. Attic room is empty. It's quite nice, spacious. It has windows, which is why we haven't used it, sir. Without the blackout blinds, sir. But I believe it's not an issue. Am I correct?
He's gonna peer at Kenneth. Is like, is that okay? It won't wear off, will it? Look, I know that Vermilion must have been such a terrible sire to you. We'll take care of you now.
I have heightened senses, I heard that.
Do you just poke your head round the corner to say that?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it just echoes down the stairs.
Yep.
I don't think it was said to be heard.
Oh no, he has no care of if Duke Vermilion hears anything. Because you have to remember that when he was turned, it was an accident, but it was an act of passion by the man he later married. So the fact that you've turned this guy and barely told him anything and just dragged him along and he's had to meet the prince and you haven't even made him properly?
You didn't even get that right. Do thin bloods, they still need blood, but they also have human food? Is that right?
Most thin bloods need blood.
Has Kenneth had blood before?
Yeah. I particularly enjoy the sweet taste of vitae, as I keep getting told.
Delicious. Yeah, you've been around for 6 months. You've had to feed at least.
Oh yeah, of course.
I've
I
had
keep
to
thinking
feed.
you're only like a week old. I keep forgetting you're 6 months old. Thompson.
Which makes it even worse that we've only just
Yeah.
found out
Yeah.
about him.
Thompson, make sure he has a few blood bags. I'm going to write you a reading list. Megabyte, give him the Wi-Fi password.
There's a
What
Wi-Fi.
languages do you speak, dear boy?
English.
Add some dictionaries to that list, Seraph.
Yes. Oh, this is really going to cut down the reading list. Oi.
Oh, he has to eat normal food, doesn't he? Thompson, we'll need to go to the grocer's.
Sir, if you don't mind me
I drank
mentioning, I
blood.
have food in for myself, sir.
Oh, of course,
What-
Thompson, how clever
What kind
of
of things do you people eat these days? Sandwiches?
Yes,
Blood.
my lady. Yes.
He needs blood and food. Yikes. This is a hungry baby.
It pans away from Seraphima and Ernest arguing over reading lists.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Milton is
What do you mean you
Milton.
don't think he's gonna read cuneiform? What kind of idiot can't read
They don't learn these things in school anymore, darling. He can barely even speak
I
German.
like that you're having this conversation, and out somewhere, Tyburn is just eating something.
Yeah.
As
As is Duke,
drinking.
he's gone off. He's gone off to have a stress tourist.
Quick question: with feeding on
Yeah.
people, do you have to roll to feed?
Hunting roll.
A hunting roll. Okay, because I think let's achieve that now.
Some-
And I just want to ask,
Yeah.
are you guys? Because I know there's different levels of. Are you draining them to the point of they're like, oh, I don't feel good? Are you draining to the point of they might die, or are you straight up killing people?
I don't think Peter doesn't want to kill anyone. I don't know what Tyburn
Well,
thinks.
that's Tyburn who's
Point out.
I think this is a night where Vermilion doesn't care if he leaves a body.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Wow.
He said he has to clean it up behind him.
Yep. I might want to point out that you might not want to leave a bunch of dead people
Yeah.
for the second Inquisition
well,
trap.
absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no,
I don't, for that reason, Tyburn's actually not particularly angry at anything, so he's going to go out and he's going to try and attack a jogger.
Aww.
Also, the only way to go to zero hunger is
To
to
completely kill someone. Yeah.
yeah.
and especially for the older
Well, I just
among
don't want
you.
to be at 2 hunger tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
possibly. It might not go up. It depends how you roll. But it risks going up each day, so you will have to feed eventually.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll leave it. If it won't take me down to hunger,
Yeah, no.
then there's no point in because I can't preemptively stop a second hunger, can I?
No, you can't.
feeding
No.
when I have
No,
one
so you
hunger.
may as well feed
Yeah,
tomorrow.
then- yeah.
And then, yeah.
Yeah.
May as well feed tomorrow.
I'm
Okay.
still going away for a stress feed. And I should probably roll. I feel like there's a roll in there to resist fucking up.
I feel like there would be if you're particularly stressed. How hungry are you, though? Just one?
I'm on hunger 1, just because that's
Okay.
where we all started.
Yeah. So you're not going to go nuts that way.
I mean, this feels like a resolve roll of some kind.
Yeah, I would think so. What's the one you kind of use to resist frenzy? Obviously you're not going to go into frenzy if you get it wrong, but it's more like that vibe,
It's
isn't it? So that's
willpower,
like
isn't it?
Willpower, yeah.
Are you doing a frenzy check?
No, I'm just doing generic willpower to see if I resist, like,
Yeah, to
fucking
see
up.
if he kills or whether he just has a drink and like covers it up a bit more. You know, whether he's got to
Yeah.
deal with the body later. So I was using a frenzy check as like a basis for trying to work out what kind of check this would be. If you've got a better idea, Casey, please share.
Nope, I don't have.
Yeah.
I don't have a better idea.
So I think willpower just to see how well you control it. I'm going to say difficulty 3.
Cool.
Like it's.
Please fail.
I don't want to fail for the angst.
I mean,
Oh, well, look at that. That is only 2 successes.
Then indeed you do fail.
Cool.
Congrats.
So I think I go on a bloodbender, and I wake up around the back of the theatre with it's in a secluded spot round the back of the theatre, and I've got one of the chorus who had a few too many bevies in the pub afterwards. I now have most of those bevies in me. They're down to the point where they would have to be hospitalised for blood loss. They're not dead
Yeah.
yet.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to think about the effort of cleaning this up, and I'm going to say, at least this way you go happily. And I'm going to use, I'll make sure they go out with my lingering kiss power.
Okay. So she has a great time.
Until she has no time. And should we just like make this a roll for how well I clean up?
I think so, but I would like you to also mark a stain on your humanity.
Fantastic.
Right, cleaning. Casey, what's a cleaning roll? I'll get there eventually.
What I'm thinking, I'm going to wrap her in chicken wire, weight her down, and dump her in the canal.
Okay, that's crime of some sort for sure.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's definitely littering.
have the entire backstage of the what do we call it, the Fitzrovia Playhouse
Yes.
at my
You've
disposal.
got chicken wire and stuff for sure. Like that's
Yeah.
part of set dress, like stuff you can like strap her to some wood and. What I think the most important is getting the body to the canal / the lake without being seen. So this is going to be some kind of stealth check. So
Yeah.
dexterity stealth. then.
dexterity stealth. Yeah.
Dexterity, stealth, and I'd like to use fleetness as well.
I think that's sensible because this is going to have a difficulty of 3 because you are holding a large body wrapped in heavy things.
Hello, what have we heard then? Sorry.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I have the stats for a mortal policeman if we want to fight it out. It's gonna
Yeah.
get worse and worse.
This is a very strange canoe you have here.
Does fleetness require a rouse check?
No.
I do not know.
Oh, hang on. Yes, it may do.
Ooh, yay! I want you to do those. Those are fun.
Cool. So, okay. I will use a rouse.
Rouse?
I will use a rouse,
A rouse check is a single d10.
Yep. Single D10.
Did you pass or fail?
I failed.
So that means
Gaining 1 hunger.
you gain 1 hunger back. So you've just slated nothing. You've just
I just
killed
drained
them.
1, so I'm back to 0. Back to 1. Cool.
Back to 1. Oh my god!
It's a vicious circle, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To do. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so now let me roll. Sorry. So does that mean that I
No,
don't
it still
ra-
succeeds, but you
but
mark.
succeeds with a
but
cost.
you gain the
Cool.
hunger. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm learning. Right, so we finished 20 minutes ago. Jacob, murder.
Yep.
The chicanery
no, that
going
is
on.
two. That is 2 successes.
Oh boy, oh boy. Okay. You, as you're coming back, having dumped the body, it sunk. That worked. It came out fine. You have the feeling you're being watched.
Oh.
You have that prickle down the back of your neck, and you're
like
very uncomfortable.
I'd like to locate that with my heightened senses.
Okay. Let me roll against that.
Okay, that is 4 successes.
Well, I've also got 4 successes, and one of mine is a critical, so I'm going to say that you can't locate this. Like, you feel it, and you see something, like, move in the distance, and you feel like you've just missed them, and you think it was another kindred.
Okay, could have been worse. I will, at this point I'm just done with everything. So I'm going to put on my baby boots and stomp off down I'm going to put on my baby boots and stomp off down Hissy Fit Lane. And that's me
that.
done for the night.
And I feel like that's a good cut to credits.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy our first step into the world of the vampire, listeners? I hope so, because we've got a whole bunch of episodes of this game ready to go. Watch out for part 2 dropping into your feed next week. But until then, thank you for listening to Direcast. If you'd like to keep up to date with episodes and announcements, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Direcast. and on Instagram @DirecastPod, and subscribe to us on your favourite podcatcher. And hey, if you enjoyed listening to us, maybe consider giving us a rating or review, or sharing us with a friend. We'd really love that. Direcast is Lukey Slynn, Matt George Lovett, Jacob Warr, Helen, Peter Wellman, and H Folkmans. This week we were joined by our extra special guest, KC. KC does things on the internet, but you won't be able to find him, because he lives under a rock. You may be able to summon him with the bat signal. Our logo and banner art are by H Folkmans. The Direcast theme and Masquerade variation were composed and performed by Matt George Lovett. This episode was edited by Jacob Warr. This week we were playing the cult classic Vampire the Masquerade, published by White Wolf Entertainment. We couldn't possibly give you all the links to all the places to find it, but we'll post some links to resources on how to get into the game in the episode description. And at least for this week, that's how the Direcast